Hi, my greetings to everyone. This video presents you Tamilnadu Samachir Kalvi 10th Standard English Short Answers for Late Bloomers. மெல்ல கற்கும் மாணவர்களுக்கான 2 மதிப்பெண் வினாக்கள். இந்த 2 மார்க் क्वेश्चंस 10th Standard Public Examல क्वेश्चन நம்பர் 15 ல இருந்து 18 வரைக்கும் கேட்கப்படும். இந்த வீடியோல ஸ்லோ லேர்னர்ஸ் படிக்க ஈஸியாகவும் சிம்பிளாகவும் இருக்கக்கூடிய ஷார்ட் ஆன்சர்ஸை நாம லெசன் வைஸா பார்க்கலாம். ஒரு லெசன்ல இருந்தும் 10 क्वेश्चन வீதம் எடுக்கப்பட்டு மொத்தம் 70 क्वेश्चंस இதுல கொடுக்கப்பட்டிருக்குது. அது மட்டும் இல்லாம क्वेश्चनல இருக்கிற keywords மற்றும் ஆன்சர்ல இருக்கிற keywords ஹைலைட் பண்ணி காண்பிக்கப்பட்டிருக்குது. PROSE 1 is first flight. Why did the seagull fail to fly? The seagull was afraid to fly. Questionல fail to fly அப்படின்னு கேட்டாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் was afraid to fly. Why did the seagull fail to fly? The seagull was afraid to fly. What was the first catch of the young seagull's older brother? Herring was the first catch of the young seagull's older brother. Questionல first catch அப்படின்னு கேட்டாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் herring. இதுல ஆன்சர் ரொம்ப லென்த்தா இருக்கிற மாதிரி தெரிஞ்சாலும் herringங்கிறது மட்டும்தான் நம்ம ஆன்சர் எழுதியிருக்கோம். பாக்கி எல்லாம் கொஸ்டின்ல இருக்கிற சென்டென்ஸை நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். What did the young seagull manage to find in its search for food? Mackerel style and dried pieces of eggshell. Questionல search for food அப்படின்னு இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் mackerel style and dried pieces of eggshell. What did the young bird do to seek the attention of the parents? The young bird acted to be falling asleep. Questionல attention of parents கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் acted to be falling asleep. The young bird acted to be falling asleep. What made the young seagull go mad? The sight of the food made the young seagull go mad. Questionல young seagull go mad அப்படின்னு கொடுத்திருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் the sight of the food. The sight of the food made the young seagull go mad. Did the mother offer any food to the young bird? No, the mother bird did not offer any food to the young bird. இது ஒரு yes or no type questions. இதுக்கு நோ மட்டும் ஆன்சர் எழுதினா போதும். பேலன்ஸ் இருக்கிற நம்ம கொஸ்டினுக்குள்ள ஆன்சர் நம்ம கொஸ்டின்ல இருந்து டெரைவ் பண்ணி எழுதிக்கலாம். How was the young seagull's first attempt to fly? The young seagull's first attempt to fly ended in failure. Questionல first attempt அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் ended in failure. The young seagull's first attempt to fly ended in failure. Do you think that the young seagull's parents were harsh to him? Yes, I think that the young seagull's parents were harsh to him. Questionல do you think அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் yes, I think. Yes, I think that the young seagull's parents were harsh to him. What prompted the young seagull to fly finally? The hunger and the food prompted the young seagull to fly finally. Questionல prompted அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் the hunger and the food. The hunger and the food prompted the young seagull to fly finally. What happened to the young seagull when it landed on the green sea? The young seagull was floating on it when it landed on the green sea. Questionல what happened அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்க அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் was floating on it. The young seagull was floating on it when it landed on the green sea. Lesson 2. The night the ghost got in. Where was the author when he heard the noise? The author was stepping out of the bathtub. Questionல where was the author அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் stepping out of the bathtub. The author was stepping out of the bathtub. What did the narrator think the unusual sound was? The narrator thought it was his father, his brother Roy, or a burglar. Questionல unusual sound அப்படின்னு இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் his father, his brother Roy, or a burglar. The narrator thought it was his father, his brother Roy, or a burglar. What were the various sounds the brothers heard when they went downstairs? The footsteps of a man, the creaking of the board. Questionல the various sounds அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் the footsteps of a man, the creaking of the board. Who were the narrator's neighbors? The narrator's neighbors were the Boardwells. Questionல narrator's neighbors வச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் the Boardwells. The narrator's neighbors were the Boardwells. What was the grandfather wearing? A nightgown with the woolen pants, a nightcap and a leather jacket. Questionல grandfather wearing அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் a nightgown with woolen pants, a nightcap and a leather jacket. Were the policemen willing to leave the house? No, the policemen were not willing to leave the house. இதுவும் ஒரு SR questions தான். இதுக்கு no அப்படின்னு ஆன்சர் எழுதினா போதும். பட் நாம கொஸ்டின்ல இருந்து கொஞ்சம் வேர்ட்ஸ் எடுத்து அதை ஃபுல் சென்டென்ஸா கன்வெர்ட் பண்ணிருக்கிறோம். No, the policemen were not willing to leave the house. What woke up the mother? The slamming of the doors woke up the mother. Questionல woke up the mother அப்படின்னு அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் the slamming of the doors. The slamming of the doors woke up the mother. Why did Herman and the mother slam the doors? Because they heard the footsteps behind the door. Questionல slam the doors அப்படின்னு keywords இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு answer they heard the footsteps because they heard the footsteps behind the door. How did the cops manage to enter the house? The cops broke the door to enter the house. Questionல the cops managed to enter அப்படின்னு இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு answer broke the door. The cops broke the door to enter the house. Who used the zither and how? The guinea pig used the zither to sleep on it. Questionல used the zither அப்படின்னு கேட்டாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு answer the guinea pig to sleep on it. The guinea pig used the zither to sleep on it. Lesson 3 Empowered women navigating the world. What does INSV stand for? INSV stands for Indian Naval Ship Vessel. Questionல INSV அப்படின்னு கேட்டாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு answer INSV stands for Indian Naval Ship Vessel. When was INSV Tarini commissioned to Indian Navy Service? INSV Tarini was commissioned to the Indian Navy Service on 18 February 2017. Questionல INSV Tarini commissioned அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு answer on 18 February 2017. Who is Tara Tarini? Tara Tarini is the patron deity for sailors. Tara Tarini அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா Tara Tarini is the patron deity for sailors. How long were they trained to undertake this voyage? They were trained for 3 years to undertake this voyage. How long trained அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா for 3 years. They were trained for 3 years to undertake this voyage. Which skill was considered important in the selection process? The survival skill was considered important in the selection process. Questionல important skill அப்படின்னு கொடுத்திருந்தாங்கன்னா the survival skill னா அதுக்கு answer. The survival skill was considered important in the selection process. Who mentored the crew? Commander Dilip Donde mentored the crew. Mentored அப்படின்னு questionல கொடுத்திருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு answer Commander Dilip Donde. Commander Dilip Donde mentored the crew. Who among the crew mentioned about teamwork? Payal Gupta mentioned about the teamwork. Mentioned about teamwork அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு answer Payal Gupta. Payal Gupta mentioned about the teamwork. What festival did they celebrate during their expedition? They celebrated the Diwali during their expedition. Questionல festival அப்படின்ற keyword இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு answer the Diwali. They celebrated the Diwali during their expedition. What does the term circumnavigation mean? The term circumnavigation means to travel around the world. Circumnavigation அப்படின்ற வார்த்தை இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு answer to travel around the world. The term circumnavigation means to travel around the world. Mention the celebrations which the crew enjoyed during their expedition. The Diwali festival, 3 birthdays, crossing the equator. Questionல the celebrations அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு answer the Diwali festival, 3 birthdays and crossing the equator தான் அதுக்கு answer. Lesson 4 the Attic. When did Aditya leave the local school? Aditya left the local school after he had passed the matriculation exam. Leave the local school கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா after he had passed the matriculation exam. Aditya left the local school after he had passed the matriculation exam. Who were Aditya's ancestors? Aditya's ancestors were zamindars. Questionல Aditya's ancestors அப்படின்னு இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு answer zamindars. Aditya's ancestors were zamindars. What did Aditya visit? Aditya visited his old local school. Questionல Aditya visit அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு answer his old local school. Aditya visited his old local school. Besides tea, what did Nagan uncle have in his shop? Besides tea, Nagan uncle had biscuits and savories in his shop. Questionல besides tea Nagan uncle have அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு answer biscuits and savories. Besides tea Nagan uncle had biscuits and savories in his shop. How did Sanyal show that he had a sense of self-respect? Sanyal always remembered to pay for his tea and biscuits. Questionல a sense of self-respect அப்படின்னு இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு answer remember to pay for his tea and biscuits. Sanyal always remembered to pay for his tea and biscuits. What did the jeweler say about the article? The jeweler said that the article was an antique. Questionல the jeweler the article அப்படின்னு இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு answer the article was an antique. The jeweler said that the article was an antique. Was Sanyal happy about his visitors? No, Sanyal was not happy about his visitors. இது ஒரு எஸ்ஆர்னோ கொஸ்டின். இதுக்கு ஆன்சர் நோ அப்படின்னு எழுதினா போதும். வாஸ் சானியல் ஹாப்பி அபவுட் ஹிஸ் விசிட்டர்ஸ்? நோ, சானியல் வாஸ் நாட் ஹாப்பி அபவுட் ஹிஸ் விசிட்டர்ஸ். வாட் வாஸ் engraved on the medal? Sriman Sasanka Sanyal Special Prize for Recitation 1948. கொஸ்டின்ல engraved அப்படி இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் ஸ்ரீமான் சசான்கா சானியால் ஸ்பெஷல் பிரைஸ் ஃபார் ரெசிடேஷன் 1948. அதான் அதுக்கு ஆன்சர். Why did Aditya and his friend go to the jeweler? Aditya and his friend went to the jeweler to find out the weight of the article. Questionல go to the jeweler அப்படின்னு இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் to find out the weight of the article. Aditya and his friend went to the jeweler to find out the weight of the article. What did Aditya offer Sanyal? Aditya offered Sanyal 150 rupees, the price of the medal. Questionல Aditya offered Sanyal அப்படின்னு இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் 150 rupees, the price of the medal. Aditya offered Sanyal 150 rupees, the price of the medal. Lesson 5, Tech Bloomers. How many people in India suffer with disability? 2.7 crore people in India suffer with disability. Questionல suffer with disability அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் 2.7 crore. 2.7 crore people in India suffer with disability. Who is Kim? Kim is the assistive technologist. Questionல Kim அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் the assistive technologist. Kim is the assistive technologist. How does Kim helps Alicia? Kim introduced Alicia to drag and dictate. Questionல Kim helps Alicia அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் introduced drag and dictate. Kim introduced Alicia to drag and dictate. Name the instrument which David controlled with his eye movements. David controls liberator communication device with his eye movements. Questionல instrument David control eye movements அப்படின்னு இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் liberator communication device. David controls liberator communication device with his eye movements. Do you think technology has improved communication? Yes, I think technology has improved communication. இது ஒரு yes or no type question. Questionல do you think technology has improved communication அப்படின்னு கேட்டாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் yes I think. Yes I think technology has improved communication. How does David operate computers with the liberator communication device? David operates computer by his eye movements with the liberator communication device. Questionல David operate computers அப்படின்னு கொடுத்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் by his eye movements. David operates computers by his eye movements with liberator communication device. Which devices are controlled using active controller? TV, Blu-ray and music players. Questionல devices controlled using active controller கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் TV, Blu-ray and music players. Which software helps Alicia to overcome her difficulty in typing? Drag and dictate helps Alicia to overcome her difficulty in typing. Questionல software helps Alicia அப்படின்னு இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் drag and dictate. Drag and dictate helps Alicia to overcome her difficulty in typing. Name the few Indian innovations which are helpful to the disabled and make their day-to-day life easier. Lechal shoes, Blue watch and IGST. Questionல Indian innovations இருந்துச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் Lechal shoes, Blue watch and IGST. Is it possible to control the computer screen with eye gaze? Yes, it is possible to control the computer screen with eye gaze. இது ஒரு yes or no type question தான். Questionல is it possible கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் yes. Yes, it is possible to control the computer screen with eye gaze. Lesson 6, the last lesson. What kind of news was usually put up on the bulletin board? The lost battles, the draft and the orders. Questionல kind of news அப்படின்னு கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் the lost battles, the draft and the orders. Other than the students who were present in the class. The old officer, the former mayor and the former postmaster. Questionல other than the students present அப்படின்னு கொடுத்திருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் the old officer, the former mayor and the former postmaster. What did M. Hamel say about the French language? The most beautiful language, the clearest and the logical language. Questionல M. Hamel about the French language அப்படின்னு கொடுத்திருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் the most beautiful language, the clearest and the logical language. How many years had M. Hamel been in the village? M. Hamill had been in the village for 40 years. Questionல how many years M. Hamill in the village அப்படின்னு கொடுத்திருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் 40 years. M. Hamill had been in the village for 40 years. Why did Franz dread to go to school that day? Franz was very late on that day and was in dread of scolding. Questionல Franz dread அப்படின்னு கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் very late on the day in dread of scolding. Franz was very late on the day and was in dread of scolding. What were the various things that tempted Franz to spend his day outdoors? The chirping of the birds, the drilling of the soldiers. Questionல tempted to spend outdoors அப்படின்னு கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் the chirping of the birds, the drilling of the soldiers. What was Franz sorry for? Franz was sorry for not learning his French lessons. Questionல Franz sorry for அப்படின்னு கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் not learning his French lessons. Franz was sorry for not learning his French lessons. Why were the villagers sitting in the last desk? To thank their master, to show respect for the country. Questionல why the villagers sitting அப்படின்னு கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் to thank their master, to show respect for the country. What were the thoughts of the narrator's parents? The thoughts of the narrator's parents were to put him to work on a farm or at the mills. Questionல the thoughts of parents அப்படின்னு கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் to put him to work on a farm or at the mills. The thoughts of the narrator's parents were to put him to work on a farm or at the mills. M. Hamill was gazing at many things. What were they? The little schoolroom and the trees he had planted. Questionல M. Hamill gazing at many things கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் the little schoolroom, the trees. The little schoolroom and the trees he had planted. Lesson 7. The Dying Detective. How did Watson feel when he heard of Holmes' illness? Watson was horrified when he heard of Holmes' illness. Questionல Watson feel அப்படின்னு கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் horrified. Watson was horrified when he heard of Holmes' illness. Why didn't the landlady call the doctor? The landlady dared not to disobey Holmes. Questionல didn't call the doctor அப்படின்னு கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் dared not to disobey Holmes. The landlady dared not to disobey Holmes. What according to Holmes was the disease he was suffering from? According to Holmes, he was suffering from turponly or the black formosa fever. Questionல Holmes the disease suffering from அப்படின்னு கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் turponly or the black formosa fever. According to Holmes, he was suffering from turponly or the black formosa fever. Why did Holmes plead with Smith? Holmes pleaded with Smith to cure his disease. Questionல Holmes plead with Smith அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் to cure his disease. Holmes pleaded with Smith to cure his disease. Who was responsible for Victor Savage's death? Mr. Culverton Smith was responsible for Victor Savage's death. Questionல responsible for Victor Savage's death அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் Mr. Culverton Smith. Mr. Culverton Smith was responsible for Victor Savage's death. How was Holmes able to look sick? Holmes was able to look sick with the 3 days of fasting and the makeup. Questionல able to look sick அப்படின்னு கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் 3 days of fasting, the makeup. Holmes was able to look sick with the 3 days of fasting and the makeup. Who was Mrs. Hudson? Why she worried of? Mrs. Hudson was the landlady of Holmes and she was worried of his illness. Questionல who Mrs. Hudson worried of அப்படின்னு கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் the landlady of Holmes and worried of his illness. Mrs. Hudson was the landlady of Holmes and she was worried of his illness. What did Watson find on the table near the mantelpiece? Watson found a small black and white ivory box with a sliding lid on the table. Questionல Watson find on the table அப்படின்னு கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் a small black and white ivory box. Watson found a small black and white ivory box with a sliding lid on the table. Who is Mr. Culverton Smith? Mr. Culverton Smith is a planter and the murderer of Victor Savage. Questionல who Mr. Culverton Smith அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் a planter, murderer of Victor Savage. Mr. Culverton Smith is a planter and the murderer of Victor Savage. Who arrested Smith? What were the charges against him? Inspector Morton arrested Smith for the charges of murdering Victor. Questionல arrested Smith the charges against him அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்கன்னா அதுக்கு ஆன்சர் Inspector Morton of murdering Victor. Inspector Morton arrested Smith for the charges of murdering Victor. Thank you for watching this video.